So, with that, I'll turn it over to the keynote speaker. We'll give it to Ms. Shannon Cohen. Everybody give her a big round of applause.
Thank you. So in the fashion of a true Detroiter, what up though, y'all? I apologize to any of you that went to the pickle factory up the street, better known as Cass Tech. I am a proud graduate of Detroit Public Schools. I'm a King Crusader. Any fellow King Crusaders in the building? I bleed black and gold all day, every day. And I was the one that broke the mold of green and white. Where are the green and white folks? Any Cass technicians? Any folks from Renaissance? I'm sorry, y'all. But this is home. I grew up at 19674 Cary Street and 48234 on the best side of Detroit, on the east side. Spent the first 21 years of my life growing up here in Detroit, and it's, you know, as business owners, it's important that we honor the roots that give us wings, right? And so growing up here in the city of Detroit, it's funny for me sometimes to think about myself as a business owner because none of my degrees are in business. My bachelor's degree is in political science and international relations. And my master's degree is in public and nonprofit administration. So I know what you're thinking, girl, how did you find your way to business? But my grandparents, my grandfather who recently transitioned is now an ancestor 3 weeks ago at 93. My grandparents started a business as they retired. When all 6 of their children had grown up and gone out of school, when I was a kid, my grandfather worked at full-service gas stations. Any of you remember that, where there was actually an attendant who would pump your gas? That's what my grandfather did. And he and my grandmother opened an auto collision shop on the west side of the city of Detroit. And what is now known as the Live 6, anybody live in the Live 6 community and a part of what Live 6 Alliance is doing. And my mother was a divorced mom of 2, so what do you do with your children over summer break? You send them with their grandparents. And so I became the unofficial apprentice of my grandparents in their auto collision business. And in their business, my grandfather was the heartbeat. He's also a pastor. He pastored a church on the east side of the city. So he did all of the people care work of the business. And my grandmother, at that time in the 80s, we did not bestow titles like chief operating officers to women, but my grandmother was the brains of the business. She was the strategist. She actually, through their business, they were able to garner a contract with Chrysler. And my grandparents became pivotal with 2 things I saw them do. I saw them contribute to the Great Migration. They created pathways of employment for family members of ours who lived in the South to migrate north for better opportunities. And I also saw my grandparents, they were really passionate about men in the community who had been impacted by Agent Orange as a result of Vietnam. And so they were intentional about hiring men who would walk to work because they were navigating PTSD. And so I remember going with my grandmother. My grandmother was anti-malls. Like, I grew up by East Side, by the mall on the East Side. And, you know, there was Northland, but I went to Eastland. If you know, you know, right? So I grew up going to Eastland, but my grandmother was anti-malls. So I remember learning about supplier procurement and supplier diversity walking the Avenue of Fashion on Livernois. And I remember that my grandmother was intentional about sourcing from other small Black, Indigenous, people of color-owned businesses. So I never knew that those years that I spent with my grandparents learning the underbelly of business, that would show up as fruit in my own life. So that's the story of the roots that give me wings. And so when Marcus asked me to come today, I was like, yeah, but let my mom know what time, because she's going to try to see if I come by the house, because all of my family still lives here, but me and my family. And so I'm super excited to have this conversation with fellow dreamers, because you, like me, you're here today because you are positioning the passion of your heart. You are in the midst of building what you dream. And I know what it is like. My business, I am not in food and beverage, and I have to tell you all, when I walked in, did somebody make collard greens? Because that's what I feel like I smell. And I was like, ooh, who is it? I am not in the food and beverage industry. I'm on the gifts and stationery side of business. We make inspirational products that invest in, we care for your soul. So while the folks that made red velvet cake, I heard there's red velvet in the building, and the folks that made collard greens care for the state of our physical bodies, I do the work to care for the state of your soul. Who you are behind the veil and under the hood in your heart and in your mind. Because you all know as entrepreneurs, your headspace matters, right? And so when Marcus asked me to come today, this matters because I started my business in the basement of my home. And I believe that great ideas incubate from dreamers who are willing to move their idea from ideation to implementation and to evolution. And so as I look across this room, all of us in this room, you're in some space of moving your idea, your dream, that thing that you just can't shake from ideation to implementation or to elevation. And so my assignment this morning is to share 3 strategies, no matter if you're in food and beverage, if you're in gifts, if you're in apparel, if you're in beauty, if you're in health, there's room for all of us. That the entrepreneurial ecosystem needs what is incubating on the inside of you. And so my assignment is to share 3 strategies to help you as you are in constant ideation mode about your business. So here's what I know. Folks remember 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, and 80% of what they see. So I have brought a lot of like show and tell. Y'all remember show and tell from school? We're going to kick it a little old school and do a little bit of show and tell. And anything that you see that inspires you or activates fresh perspective in you, feel free to use your cell phone and take a photo. I'm sharing it with you because I believe that one of the best gifts a person can give you is the benefit of their wisdom without the pain. And there's a lot, this sweater is hiding y'all, but there's a lot of entrepreneurial battle scars up under this sweater. Of missteps and pivots and of things that I had to learn baptism by fire because there's not a lot of representation of folks that look like me in the gifts and party space. So I've had to pioneer a lot of what I've had to learn. And so my assignment today is that what I share with you helps you go further faster. That's my assignment. And my heart this morning is to leave about 10 minutes after. I'm going to shorten what I have to share. Unless we flow different, I'm going to flow with y'all. So as you give me energy, I'll flow where y'all got the energy. Is that all right? But if there are questions that you have, I want to give a little bit of time to answer questions at the end because, y'all, in 5 days, our company hosts a conference for women leaders like those that I see in this room, and we are expecting nearly 1,000 women to join us at the JW Marriott in person and virtually in 5 days. So I can't stay for the full day, so somebody's going to have to slide me a plate of collard greens and red velvet cake before I have to go because I have to get ready to serve those women. Okay, let me go back. So on the count of 3, so we're going to engage, right? Because we learn the most with full body engagement. And if what I share with you today stops at head knowledge, I have not done my job. I want this to be transformative in your life. And so the things that become transformative for us are things that we play with and we explore experientially. So on the count of 3, I want you to shout out your name because I recognize that not everyone is entrepreneurs. Some of you are intrapreneurs. You bring an entrepreneurial perspective to work for existing systems. That's like what the folks here that are here with Meijer or Pure Michigan do. So on the count of 3, full participation, front to the very back. I want you to shout your name and the name of either the company that you work for or the company that you're scaling. Y'all got it? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And that's on that. Okay. I'm here for this energy this morning. Okay. So here's another title that I want you to add to what you just shared with me. Dear entrepreneur, entrepreneurs wave at me for a minute. This works for, all right, y'all wave, hey y'all. want you to add this title to who you are and what you do. You are also Chief Brand Storyteller. If you don't talk about what you do, who else will? If I were to say Burger King, what is their motto? If I said Nike, what is their motto? If I were to say Chick-fil-A, what do they tell you to eat? How do you know? Because every day, these brands position their values proposition, they position who they are, their objective in a way that you can read, see, hear, and touch every single day. So my question, oh great dreamers, people that are building what you've dreamed and not what you've seen, how are you strategically and intentionally positioning your brand every single day in a way that your consumer and your target audience, or even the retailers, big box retailers that you want to go inside of, how are you positioning your brand every day, Chief Brand Storyteller, in a way they can read, see, hear, and touch it? Every day. When you feel like it and when you don't. When products are selling and they're not. I don't care if nobody likes your post, post it anyway. I don't care if you don't have family who buy your products, position it anyway. A lot of times who you think is going to be your market may not be your market. Open up to new opportunities. So I brought samples if you scan, because I believe in show and tell. So when we started our business, one of the things that I knew is that we needed to position our business in a way that people could read it, see it, and hear it. And so this is one of the strategies that we did. We do a magazine. Why is it only Essence or Ebony or those magazines? We created a magazine, and this is my son on the cover. He was our very first model. My son was 2 when we started our business. My neighbor was our first photographer, and he did not want to sit down and watch Sesame Street and eat his cheeses like was my plan. And so my neighbor, who has 4 children of her own, she said, Shan, stop trying to fight him. Just let him be in the photo. So he was in the photo. He was my first model, y'all, at 2. Now my audience loves him. He's about to be 10. So we tell the story of our family because, listen, we are living in the age of the educated consumer. Your audience don't just want to know what you sell. They want to know who you are. They want to know what your values are. And so if you scan that QR code, it will take you to that. So we believe in read, see, hear. I brought a couple of examples, and I might have to chat. You know how one day I had gotten a political mailer in the mail. That's where the inspiration for this came from. And I said, why is it just for elected officials? This captures my attention because if you think about it as entrepreneurs, every single day you are trying to disrupt the scroll. There's so much noise in the life of your consumer that you have to think about, where does my consumer live and how do I disrupt the noise and cut through the noise to position who we are in front of them. So we've done things of all sizes. These are some 6x6s. These are 4x4s. It says handwritten notes are my jam on the front. Be your personality. And on the back, it has a picture of me and our mission. So we would put this inside of things that we mail. I'm going to give you some more examples because I want to take questions. So there were times when how many of you as chief brand storytellers are also at this season chief brand photographer? Videographer, social media ambassador. Okay. There's no judgment in that. There's nothing wrong with that. But grow relationships. Look at Fiverr. If you haven't used Fiverr, look at who you maybe went to school with. One of my best friends is a graphic designer. We've been friends since we were 18. She's still our graphic designer. And now she's our director of visual storytelling. She was the very first person I brought on my team. I did not bring an admin because I hired first who would help me generate more money. And I knew that I'm a wordsmith. I am not an artist. So I had to bring a graphic designer first. So as you think about who your next hire is, can they support the cost of their salary because of what they value add that they bring to your brand? And if they can't, that may not be the next best person to hire. Okay, some more examples. Am I meddling too much or y'all all right? Okay. So one of the things that we realized is that we wanted to start the message when we thought about read, see, hear. And I have to say this too, because a lot of times there's so much focus on social media, but I believe you have to think about email marketing. How many of you do email marketing and get the email addresses of your audience? I love it. Y'all, here's the truth. Social media is rented space. Your email marketing, you own that list. So if you're not creating a pathway to grow your e-list, you're going to miss out. There are so many entrepreneurs that I know that when Facebook or Twitter, now X or Threads or all of these different entities, when they changed, they lost their audience. And it devastated them. So curate your e-list. We have about 6,000 folks on our e-list, and we have a 60% open rate. So every week, I share inspiration and strategy by email with something that I'm lovingly selling every Friday like clockwork. I get more return on investment from those 52 posts than trying to run behind folks on Instagram. So you have to study your audience, know your craft, know what you're good at, and find that alignment between joy and purpose. And what you don't know, that may be a space for you to hire out. So one of the things that we also discovered is because we're sending packages, how many of you ship products to other people? Just show of hands. All right, that's a lot of us. How many of you have something on the outer, on your packaging that tells who you are? What do you have? Give me some examples. Let's cross-pollinate ideas and support one another. What do you do? What is on your package? Yes, ma'am. I love it. She said that I have, because for recording purposes, that she has a sticker that has the name of her company emboldened on it and who she is. Someone else, what do you have on the outside of your package? Yes. I love it. She has a picture of a woman that's a chef because she manufactures seasoning. Yes, somebody in the back. Yes, way up there. Yes, yes. Tell me what you have. Shout real loud. They're in the middle. Yes. Okay, I heard company name with your logo. How many of you have your website on your outer packaging? How many of you have your social media on your outer packaging? We lost a significant number of names. You add that today. Because here's the thing, you all, my local post office, they ride for me. And let me tell you how, this is when we just came out with a wellness and affirmation deck called Hope on the Go. It's like having me go home with people. It's our keynotes in a box. We are looking excited to have this go into Meijer next year. Yeah. So this is a sticker that we created. And it says simply, you can see it from the back, can't you? It says, hope is here. And it has our website on the bottom, and it says, look inside. So our postal carriers used to be like, what do you make? What do you sell? And they became customers. Because I started selling to the people who would touch the package before it got to my end consumer. So think about that. With your packaging, you spark my interest. I see your logo. I need seasoning. I need what you make. I need beauty products, but I don't know how to get to you. And sometimes, how do you put a sticky statement in 6 words or less that creates curiosity and a sense of wonder? Okay, let's go to the next thing, because I want to make sure I get to questions. Here's my second strategy. So you're a chief brand storyteller. Here's the next strategy I want to encourage you around. As fellow fellow dreamers who are building what you've dreamed and not what you've seen. You are chief brand storyteller. You are also chief relationship builder. If you don't write down anything else, I want you to write this down. Text it to yourself, tweet it to yourself. Every dreamer needs a build squad. Every dreamer needs a build squad. Who is on your build squad? So today you're going to meet with buyers, which is great. But some of the people you need on your build squad are fellow entrepreneurs in this room. So don't negate, don't see them, debunk and disrupt the belief that we are competitors. Now, that doesn't mean everybody is going to be team you, so I'm not saying don't use discernment. But I am saying that there is a unique path that entrepreneurs, especially small business owners, take that you almost have to be another small business owner to get it. And unfortunately, and many of the buyers you're going to encounter today, they have worked with businesses, but they've never been small business owners. They've never had to figure out how to make $1 out of 15 cents. They may not know what it's like to work day in and day out and still not get paid, because every 2 weeks they're going to get a check. And so you're going to need for head space, heart space, and strategy to build relationships with fellow entrepreneurs. Build relationships with people that do fulfillment, that do transportation. You can ask me so many questions about LTS transportation now that I did not know before going into Meijer stores. Because before, LTS was the back of my truck. They call me and say, can I speak to, your shipping manager? I'd be like, hold on. Hello? Y'all know that's real. This is Shannon from shipping. And you call tomorrow, it's going to be Shannon from accounts payable, accounts receivable. So you need to build relationships. You are not going to always be the size that you are. So you got to build relationships before you need them. Find out from your buyers, what is it going to take to position your brand to the next level and what you're going to need. And build relationships with people that can help you with that pipeline, because you cannot do it all. That has been the biggest mental leap I had to make, is from a solopreneur to a CEO. Because I was so used to doing everything by myself. And as Detroiters, that Detroit versus everybody is not us, it's because we dope, but it's also that resilient spirit that almost resides in the city. There's a hustle that comes with being a Detroiter. There's a grind that's almost ancestrally built into our DNA. It's like, you tell me I can't. What? It's like just, right? When I need to do hard stuff, I listen to Big Sean's Unstoppable. It's like, why would I stop? I'm unstoppable. Like, it's a reason he is the creative director for the Pistons, because there's something in a Detroiter that a fellow Detroiter just gets. I think we created Watch Me or See Me Die Trying. Like, that's in us, but that can only get us so far. There becomes a point where you're going to need to adopt the mindset that I'm going to need a build squad, or I'm going to stay small because I'm one human. The great philosopher Nipsey Hussle said it this way: if you look around your circle and you don't get inspired, my friend, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. So start building your circle. Trust but verify your circle. Because a lot of times you only get one shot. So here's a little bit of who my build squad is. And it's taken time to build my build squad, but many of them are small business owners too, that we would do freelance work. We would cross-pollinate ideas. We would invest in one another's elevation, and we ride for one another. And so there are people in this room that you're going to need to go to your next. Here's the last thought I want to leave you with. Every business owner, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. The top of one mountain that we ended up achieving is we have a licensing agreement with American Greetings, which I'm grateful for. But that took us to the bottom of the next mountain, which was figuring out how did we go into Meijer, into the gifts and party industry space. And I want to tell you, fellow entrepreneur, that you are going to make mistakes. It's not because you're not brilliant. It's not because your idea isn't good, but you have to give yourself room to evolve and become. You have to give yourself room to learn and to grow, to evolve as you build relationships, to evolve as you have capital to evolve. You're going to constantly be becoming. And so this QR code takes you to every social media, anything I have. And I wish I could stay and talk later, but I have a few minutes left. And I want to be a thought partner on your build squad. I want to join you in answering from my lived experience any questions that you may have, or if something sparks something within you. If I can join you for these last 3 minutes that I have to answer questions, throw them out. For recording purposes, I see Beverly in the audience with the microphone. If that doesn't work, I'll repeat the question so that we can make sure that anyone joining us today virtually or that will tune into this recording can hear us after today. So what's on your mind and your heart? If it's on your mind, it's on somebody else's mind too. So don't be afraid. Yes, I see that hand. Hi.
Hello, my name is, can you hear me? Everyone hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Yes.
Awesome. My name is Seisha. My business is a smoothie company called NutriBay. And my question is, what if you don't think your story is interesting enough? I know the purpose, but that connection that you want to make with the people, how could I get around that?
I love that question. Thank you, Seisha, for that honesty. The question was, what if I don't think my brand story is compelling enough? One of the things I think that's really important that we do as entrepreneurs is we have to read, see, and hear things that feed our soul. Starting a business is vulnerable as heck. Nobody told us how vulnerable it would be. I remember Erykah Badu, she has a song that she came out with that she said, I'm sensitive about my ish. And I thought, Erykah, you ain't alone. We are all vulnerable because it's a little piece of your soul that you're putting out into the earth through your products, goods, or services. And so you've got to read books, listen to podcasts that feed your spirit so you can do what you do, Seisha, from a place of confidence and courage and not fear and insecurity. And that's something we have to do every day. The other thing is talk to your audience. There are people that love what you do or you wouldn't be here today. You have a viable business, and maybe there's a way with your social that you ask people, what do you love about our brand, or why do you choose us? And maybe tie a giveaway to it. You know, this month we're going to pick the name of someone, and we want you to answer this question. Send us a video. Now, this is better. Let's talk strategy. Send us a 30-second or less video about why you choose us or how you use our products. Great thought partners that you are, great dreamers. Why might I say use a video and send it to me? I can repost it. You just answered my content problem. Every day I got to post something that people can read, see, or hear. And we live in a word of mouth culture, so why, rather than me tell you, let my customer base tell you. And then people love to be seen. Now I tag you, and what do? Share it to your network. And now my brand has visibility into your network and not just my own. Great question. All right, y'all, 25 seconds. Who has one more question? I can join you as a thought partner around. Yes, sir.
I have one more question.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Text me or QR code me. Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. My name is Ingi. Thank you.
Oh, y'all, thank you.
My name is Ingi Olua. I create all natural skincare products, including insect repellent. And my question is, can you tell us about your mindset shift from idea/hobby to this is a full business and I need to act accordingly?
Ooh, that's a fire question. We might have to go to Petty Cash on Livernois and have a whole conversation. Headspace shifts. Such a good question, and I'm trying to be succinct. My idea for my business started from speaking. I'm a speaker. That's what I did. I was a person that had a service. I didn't have product. But I remember there being this transition where we were being coached that every product-based business needed a service and every service-based business needed a product. And so it was after coming to Detroit, I spoke for Blue Cross Blue Shield's National Management Association event, and one of their executive team members came up to me with money balled in her hand, and she said, "Where's your book?" I said, "I don't have a book." She rolled her eyes at me. She said, "Where's your product?" I said, "I don't have any." She said, "The next time I see you, you better have a book and some product," and it changed my life. I went back home. I said goodbye to my parents who lived here. I went back home. My husband said, "How did it go?" My son was about 11 months old. I said, "Yo, we need some product in a book." True story. So I was like, well, what do I do? Like, I'm a words person. I've always loved stationery and greeting cards. And so because I had built relationships, I started with my local printer, and I was like, these are some of those sticky statements from keynotes that I've given. I want to turn it into a card. Worked with my friend, and she started taking my words, and we started transforming them into graphics, and we sold them. I hosted an event because I was like, is there a market demand for what I like and what I make? So I hosted an event, y'all. I charged $5 to get in. I'm a graduate of Grand Valley State University. I partnered with the university. They were like, "Shannon, we'll give you the space. You pay for catering." And that was my expose to the world to say, would y'all, if I put this out in the market, will you buy it? 100 women signed up. Y'all laugh, but let me tell you the truth. The catering bill was $1,500. I told y'all I charged $5. I had 100 people. So we started off in the red $1,000. My husband was like, "Great, is this how maybe you have a hobby or you have a foundation? You should be a 501c3. So it started in the basement. So I had this event, but then I was like, where do you go? And so I began to feed on anything I could put my hands on about being an entrepreneur. And I started putting my things in salons. Salons and spas were my first place. I started with consignment relationships, not wholesale. And I started hitting the pavement with sharing my brand of inspiration and strategy in the world. And so there are stages that you go through, but I think that building the relationships that you need, piloting your ideas. Listen, y'all, trust your gut. Listen, the mind is where we incubate ideas, but the mind is also where we incinerate ideas. And I had to stop shooting down my ideas before I tried. So that's the first headspace shift. I had to realize that my mind will either incubate or incinerate. It's up to me which one it does. Going from solopreneur to where I am now, which I feel like, I realized that I didn't know 94% true study stat. And Marcus, I'm looking at you. Can I have 2 more minutes? Y'all, is that okay? Justin, I'm looking at 2 more minutes. Okay, 2 more minutes really quickly. A recent SBA study found that 94% of Black-owned businesses have less than 2 employees. Y'all, if that messes with you, it messes with me too. That means for most of us, we stay in a place of being solopreneurs, and there's this gap between us being able to scale our businesses because many of us started our businesses as side hustles. We come from a people that have always been entrepreneurial, but there were systemic reasons and capital gaps that caused us to have to constantly stay at side hustle space. And so I realized that I was on the brink. I knew that there was more in me, but I didn't know how to go from where I was to where I wanted to be, even after getting into Meijer, even after getting into Target. And so I hired an executive coach. Every year I go to a conference that invests in me as a CEO. One of the conferences I go to is held here. It's called Small Giants. Small Giants research is always here. It's in the Bedrock building downtown in Campus Martius Park. It's usually in May. I go every year because if I don't that's one of the ways I invest in transitioning my headspaces. I go to things that inspire me. It's all CEOs that go to this event. I will warn you, typically when I have gone, I've been the only person that looks like me. But there I met my executive coach. And I knew he was, so one of the things that they do with Small Giants is every year they have these 30-minute like meet and greet where you get to talk to an executive coach who is skilled in helping businesses scale, grow, and build. And I remember meeting with him and I started to cry. He says, then he started to cry and I was like, you my person, so I guess we go together now. And his expertise is in help. He is pushing me. If we're not beefed out once a month, then something is wrong. He is pushing me because you go to the next level head first. And he has been so critical in my development. So I will say that there becomes a point where you reach the end of what you know and you need somebody else to be a catalyst and catalytic in your growth process. And for me, that has been an executive coach. So y'all, I think we need to still hang out a little bit more. So please scan this QR code. Y'all, thank you for letting me be with you this morning. It has been my honor. It has been my privilege. I am excited to see your businesses soar. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, one more time.
Thank you.
How you doing? Thank you so much. So real quick, this isn't anything new. This is just who she is. Meijer Market Format was really founded on doing good business with good people. And I can tell you, Shannon Cohen is one of the best people that we've ever met. She's honestly genuine. And I wanted to take this time out to say thank you and show you our appreciation. So we got something for you. We wanted to show our appreciation. So thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate you. Thank you.